My name is Joe Hafif. I'm a builder, an author, and a concerned citizen, just like you. Let me begin with my disclaimer. Obviously, this last election was totally 100% legitimate, and any claim to the contrary is a total lie, and I condemn anyone who says otherwise as a traitor, liar, and thought criminal who must lose his social credits, be sent to a re-education camp, and be canceled forever from society. But even if Donald Trump had gotten 4 more years, as I wish he did, oh no, wait, no, that was just a joke. I did not mean that. My most sincere apologies to dear leader. I beg your forgiveness. Folks, the federal legislature is hopeless, and the only peaceful way out of this mess is for 2/3 of the state legislatures to amend the Constitution to restore our Constitution. And most people have no idea what that means, so let me explain it to you. We must, 1, reinstate the 10th Amendment. This country is a federation of independent states where citizens were intended to have at least 50 different political options. This is not supposed to be the United States of America with majority rule and just one political option like we have today. It is not up to future generations to financially support this generation's social programs. Every federal social program must be shifted back to the states, counties, cities, and towns that want them, as was the case prior to President FDR. Residents of each state and local district must fund their own preferred levels of socialism or wealth redistribution programs. People who pledge their allegiance to the status quo are pledging their loyalty to the horrible quasi-Soviet system of government created by President FDR, not this nation's founders. Number 2, reinstate the First Amendment. Censorship must be abolished from public platforms, which are continuing to receive protection by a corrupt Congress and Senate. The right of all citizens to engage in language offensive to others, regardless of their race, creed, sexual orientation, or any other factor, must be protected on public platforms. We all have the right to refer to anyone else by any pronoun we choose, regardless of the recipient's preference. Blackface, whiteface, cultural appropriation, whatever, sticks and stones. Progressives can't lift the ban on the 7 words that offend most people and then institute their own ban on the N-word for the same people who call women bitches and hoes. It has got to be open season on everybody, not just white Christian males. You must have the right to call me any slur or horrible name you can think of. If you do not have that freedom of expression, then you are not on a public platform. Talk about an all-out assault on our democracy. It does not get much bigger than the censorship that Marxists are engaging in on public platforms right now. Number 3, confirm the Second Amendment. The descent into Marxism typically happens in the blink of an eye. Once freedom of speech is abolished, there is no way to organize the county defense forces or county militias that used to exist before they were written out of history. County government defense forces are a right provided to all county governments by the Second Amendment to ensure that the defense of our Constitution remains under the control of 3,000 plus local county governments. Number 4, reinstate the Constitution's original tax clauses. Number 5, reinstate the gold and silver backing clause so that the United States government cannot print the dollar into oblivion, which is where we're heading. You are not going to believe how fast hyperinflation comes on to destroy your entire lifetime of savings and wipe out everything on all retail store shelves that are not going to be restocked. Number 6, repeal the 14th Amendment, which was ratified to ensure that slaves and children of slaves were automatically legalized as citizens of the United States. This current generation of politicians is deliberately misinterpreting the intent of the amendment to flood the nation with unskilled second and third world immigrants who are far more likely to vote for them to steal from us. Number 7, repeal the 17th Amendment to return the election of senators to the state legislatures. Again, we are supposed to be a federation of 50 independent states. Number 8, impose term limits of no more than 2 terms for congressmen and senators, and a 12-year limit for Supreme Court justices. Again, this amendment can only be brought about by the state legislatures. It will never happen at the federal level. Number 9, impose an annual balanced budget with no off-budget exceptions, and a sole exemption for imminent or current wartime emergencies. And finally, number 10, impose a uniform set of criteria for all states and territories that participate in federal elections to prevent vote fraud, including photo identification, signature verification, paper ballots, and an end to same-day registration and early voting. When tyrants take away the ballot box, there are no peaceful alternatives. Our nation has reached the point wherein there is almost no free press left that doesn't censor news that is detrimental to the Marxist revolution. Marxist censors are interpreting the true intent behind our peaceful words to prevent hypothetical individuals from having dangerous thoughts. Our politicians are totally beholden to about a dozen mega-billionaire oligarchs. Corporate CEOs are climbing on top of themselves to be the first to the podium to declare their solidarity with the Marxists. And the most important provisions in our Constitution have long been deleted from history. So, where are we supposed to go from here in our brave new world? Do we just ramp up more of the same? The American Revolution was brought about by less than this, and they were mostly just pissed off about a tax on tea. Our state legislatures cannot continue to ignore the abolition of the most fundamental provisions in our Constitution and expect conservatives to continue bowing down to the multitude of violent progressive mobs that have killed dozens of people as they have been burning our nation down to the ground for the past 4+ years. I ask you to please text this link to any of your friends who are looking for a peaceful way out of this mess. We have got to have an agenda that is bigger than taking a selfie in Nancy Pelosi's chair. If you would like to learn more about how to strip the Soviet system out of American government, or you would like to help your kids or spouse understand this agenda, please order my book, How to Win Nearly Every Political Argument with a Socialist, on Amazon or Audible, while you still can.